Okay. Hi guys, my name is Demarco Moore. Welcome to my video presentation on chapter 6, which is digital television and video. As you can see, I hurt my hand, just a little background. Won't take up too much time. I broke my middle finger 1 week ago today playing flag football. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. You'll see me wave that around throughout the presentation. Let's go ahead and get right into it. The learning goal that I want everybody to take away from today's presentation is one, to gain an understanding of the impact of the global transition from analog to digital television. Those are pretty much going to be the main topics today, was the global transition and the U.S. transition from analog to digital television. That's number one. Number two is to explore how we view our content, including the development of the technology we view it on. Mainly, obviously, from the title, we're talking about digital television. So the main technology we'll be focusing on today is television. And three is to make a connection between technology and how God's name can be glorified. So I'll be talking about the ways that Christianity is viewed in the eyes of technology and how we use technology to glorify God's name. And I'll have a question at the end of the PowerPoint and the end of this video to pose to you all. So without further ado, let's get right into things. I had a brief legend or abbreviation. I used a lot of abbreviations just so I won't kill you with the PowerPoint. So if at any point you get confused by DTV or HDTV or ATSC, that you see something in the PowerPoint, I made sure to put it on this third slide, on the third slide. So just refer back to the third slide if you get tripped up by any of the abbreviations. All right, analog to digital transition, what resulted? You can flip slides now. The second global transition from analog to digital television, or DTV, occurred from June 12th, 2009 to 2016. And exactly what this meant was that was the second global transition. The first transition happened from 1997 to 2009, and that was to get us from analog to digital. And the second global transition, which happened all over the world, happened from 2009 to 2016. So that's when they completely phased out analog television, and everything was filmed DTV. And with that transition has come new developments of smaller and larger TV displays. So simply put, TVs have been simultaneously getting smaller and bigger at the same time. And what that means is you don't have the fatbacks, as we used to call them, the fatback TVs. They're skinnier TVs, but they're also bigger in diagram. So they measure TVs diagonally from corner to corner. And that's how you get like the 55-inch or the 42-inch. And there's improved video camera quality and online postings. More people are using their cameras. I'm actually recording this on my phone right now. The quality is obviously better. I hope it looks better. And more people are posting videos online. And there's a shift from pushed to pull program delivery. What that means is pushed is over-the-top airing, or excuse me, over-the-air broadcasting. So if you're just watching TV, you're watching your weekly show like How to Get Away with Murder or This Is Us on NBC, that's push technology. So that's something that broadcasters just broadcast to you. But if it's pull program delivery, then that means you sought it out. So you went and on Netflix, or you went on YouTube to find a specific piece of content and you pulled it from the internet. So any internet delivered technology would be considered pulled and not pushed. But any over-the-air broadcasting that's happening on networks would be considered pushed. Okay, so we can move on to the next slide. And I just kind of explained that program delivery, over the top, or OTT TV, or over the air. That's what the biggest difference is over the top is more internet-based stuff like your Netflix, your Vimeo, your YouTube. But over the air is more network broadcasting like NBC, CBS, your local affiliates. And that line is kind of blurred between broadcast cable, direct broadcast, satellite, DBS delivered, or linear TV and on-demand content. So nowadays, you're starting to see network TV like CBS or NBC being offered over the top, so and on demand. So kind of gone are the days where you have to wait a week to watch your favorite show. Um, you really could just wait to the end of the season and you can catch it all on Netflix at the same time. And I know that's what a lot of people do now with binge watching. And the universal term is IDTV, which is internet delivered TV. So, and that's become the more popular medium. So moving right along, there are new standards of digital television, the Advanced Television Systems Committee Standard 1.0 and the future 3.0, which is actually on page 70 if you don't feel like listening to the rest of the slide. Um, this is kind of the new standard, which 3.0 now is more internet based. So more broadcasters want to become more like the internet so they can get their ads more geared towards like internet based broadcasting. And flat screen displays that are 42 inches or more are considered smart now from the year 2016 and beyond. So if you have a 42-inch TV and you bought it in the years 2016 or later, it's now considered a smart TV. An example of this would be Samsung's Smart Hub display. And they could be the Roku TV or any kind of TV, Samsung, LED, Vizio, whatever the case may be. So let's go ahead and flip slides. But there have been some broadcasting disruptions. Just some YouTube statistics right here. 100 hours of video are uploaded every minute to YouTube. And as I stated earlier, more people are using their cell phones because of the camera quality. More people are using their cell phones to upload content. I mean, it's easier to just use your cell phone, something you use every day, than it is to go out and buy an expensive piece of video equipment, like a video camera or whatever the case may be. So more content is being produced online, and this type of distribution has led to viewers pulling content digitally, which obviously would be a problem for if you work for a broadcast company like a CBS or an ABC. Because if I can just get my content online or have people producing content, your social media comedians or your influencers or your YouTube couples, they're just producing all their content online with their cell phones, then I kind of don't need to go watch, a Love and Hip Hop or, a drama show and wait a week to watch it when I can, watch it boom, 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 whenever I want to online. And this is a threat to established broadcasters and program producers. And as a result, they've started to offer their content either for free or by subscription, their premium content. So moving on to the next slide. Okay, an example of technology glorifying God's name. I use YouTube for an example. There's this thing called the Bible Project, which I actually have an article of, and they actually wanted to help people kind of lift up the name of Jesus, and they reached millions of people with the gospel of Jesus Christ through the support of crowdfunding and its promotion on YouTube. So I have an animated video outreach project. It's the Bible Project, and want people to experience the Bible as a unified story that leads to Jesus, a big meta narrative that leads to Jesus. And that's a direct quote from Mike McDonald, the director of strategic relationships of the Bible Project. So that's just one of the ways that technology, in this case being YouTube, can be used to glorify the name of Jesus. Because if you're using YouTube, if you're on YouTube and you're familiar with the Bible Project, then you can use that as your medium for, studying the Bible, or if you just don't want to read the Bible, this is a more interactive way to do things. So moving right along from that. The global transition from analog to digital. And obviously this details that conversion by nations. The conversion for the United States happened in 2009. In Japan, it happened in 2012. India, 2014. And in most European nations, it happened by 2015. Moving on to the next slide. The programming is in that widescreen, 16 by 9. That aspect ratio is the standard for nations that have made the transition, which is also good news for consumers because basically as more technology, as better stuff comes out, the digital TV display prices have constantly or consistently been dropping since 2010. On to the next slide. And these are just some facts about digital TV technology. There's high resolution images with multi-channel audio. So now you get that surround sound audio, and obviously you get the high resolution images. And they're able to integrate IDTV programming, and IDTV is internet delivered TV. So now you're able to see things that you could only see on the internet, on your TV, on your smart TVs. So now you can watch Netflix or you can watch YouTube on your TV without having to switch between a TV and your computer, which is a really cool thing. So moving right along. And like I said earlier, IDTV, internet delivered TV. That's an example of pull technology because you can just pull it directly and get it on demand like Netflix. And over-the-air linear broadcasting is push technology, like watching This Is Us on NBC. So just another example of that. And there was a decade that kind of defined the diffusing of high-definition TV technology. And this was the decade between 86 and 96. It helped diffuse HD TV in Japan, Europe, and the United States. And these are some of the events. In 86, there was the CCIR, which rejected the Japanese high vision system as a world HD TV production standard. In 87, the FCC created the ACATS. Hold on, I got that over here somewhere. This was basically a committee that was charged with investigating policies, standards, and regulations that would facilitate the introduction of ATV in the United States. In 88, there was the Eureka EU 95. In 1990, ACATS was set to begin testing analog ATV systems in the U.S. when General Instrument Corporation announced it had perfected transmitting a high-definition signal. 95 was the Grand Alliance system being successfully tested, and in 96, the FCC proposed adopting the ATSC digital television standard that specified 18 digital transmission variations in HD and SD, which is, we know HD is high definition, but SD is standard definition formats. And this is about diffusion in the U.S. This next slide, there was a plan for and this is what I kind of talked about in the beginning, that this all started kind of in 1997, kind of that transition period, and they set the deadline. The FCC, the Federal Communications Committee, they set the transition for December 31st, end of 2006. But people didn't really pick up on buying, digital TV sets. They wanted to hold on to their old TVs. So they pushed the deadline back to February 17th, 2009. But there was also a catch that you had to buy a converter box, which I can kind of remember this. This wasn't that long ago, but I can kind of remember being a kid and, coming in and, the news kind of announcing you needed a converter box if you wanted to watch local TV, or local broadcast channels. It's like, what? I thought we just needed an antenna. But you needed a converter box. So a lot of people were, again, slow to do it. So an act of Congress during the Obama administration pushed the deadline back again to 2009. And since 2009, that's when people kind of started buying into the whole idea and kind of taking it seriously. Like, they're about to phase out of analog and go straight to digital. So we kind of need a smart TV. So the number of households with digital HD TV displays, it rose from 24% to 80% by 2015. To the next slide. This kind of takes us into the spectrum battle that was going on with digital TV. I'll pull that up. And it says Negro Punch switch here. Scroll up just a little bit to find that part. Here it is. Okay, the Negro Punch switch, which was the conversion of broadcasting from mainly over-the-air service to one that is wired for many U.S. households, and the transition of telephones from wired to wireless. So that Negro, that's what that I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but Negro Punch switch. And the diffusion of new digital technologies. Like the 4K resolution sets. You know, like your curved TVs, your ultra high definition TVs, different stuff like that. So on to the next one. At this National Association of Broadcasters conference, the FCC proposed that TV networks and affiliates, those local broadcasters, that they will surrender any additional digital television spectrums, the channel, any of the additional channels that they have for auction. And the offer included the opportunity to make additional revenue if they did surrender those channels. And they were, auctioned off for like $20 billion in 2009. When the initial digital television switch over happened. These were like channels from 52 to 90, I believe. And Congress was banking on, using more auctioning in the wake of the 2008 through 2010 global recession, in the hopes that that money could be used to kind of balance out the deficit. In the Obama administration, in 2012, when the auction actually did happen, they passed the Middle Class Tax Relief and Job Creation Act of 2012, stating that the FCC was authorized to reclaim those spectrums that were assigned to TV broadcasters and affiliates. And they could do so through, they pretty much made them come into the auction either through a forward auction or a reverse auction. Because all the digital channels were going to get repacked, and they were going to get put on different frequencies regardless. So they kind of gave them an out. So you could do the forward auction or you could do the reverse auction. And on to this next slide, could talk about that ATSC 3.0 DTV standard, digital television standard. And this was the adoption of improved national digital standard. Broadcast TV companies, they want to be more competitive with internet-based content providers. So this standard would, they kind of lobbied for a system that combined broadcasting with over-the-top programming, kind of like that internet-based broadcasting. And they wanted to kind of align their system with that internet system. And that would kind of be the new standard, which they would ultimately end up doing. And you kind of see that now with smart TVs. And the future, on to the next slide. This is the future of digital television. So you got your ultra high definition television with 4K resolution, which just ups the resolution. So, it's just clearer. So you got Blu-ray on some of these TVs. You got your ultra high definition. You got your OLED flat screens. And as these TVs are start to become more developed, then your older models, your older smart TVs, which sounds crazy to even say an older smart TV, kind of sounds like a paradox. Um, those prices obviously go down, and the conversion to HDTV and ultra high definition is being propelled by the falling prices of these digital television displays. All right, now we're on to Japan. The Japan Broadcasting Corporation, which is called NHK, in 2013, they unveiled 8K television at the NAB show in Las Vegas. The previous year, they had filmed the London Olympics, the Olympic Games, the Summer Olympic Games that happen every 4 years. They had filmed it. They had, with their prototype camera, their super high vision camera. And they had showed it off. They had unveiled it at this Las Vegas show. And these are some of the characteristics of super high vision, which is still in the prototype phase. I mean, this is not something that's like out for sale or anything like that. So this is still in the prototype phase. It's got a resolution of 7680 wide by 4320 high pixels. The aspect ratio of 16:9, so it's still widescreen. Progressive scanning frequency of 60 frames, which is super fast. 22.2 multi-channel audio system with a top layer of 9 channels, middle layer of 10 channels, and bottom layer of 3 channels, and 2 local frequency effect channels, and 33 million pixels per frame, which is 16 times more than HDTV. So imagine that picture. And it produces 3D spatial sound that augments or amplifies the sense of reality and presence. So just to simplify that, it makes you feel like you're actually there if you're looking at 8K, which has got to be mind-blowing. I know Professor Gerstner, he said he got to witness it at this show. So and these are just to flip to the next slide. We're almost done. Trends to watch between 2016 and 2018. So you have the evolving 4K and 8K DirecTV technology. I said DirecTV, digital television technology. So the continued development of high resolution video production and display technologies will enhance the viewing experience of TV audiences around the world. So this another fun fact about the 8K. It said it's supposed to be, because it's so big, and it's supposed to be like classroom settings, so, or event watching. So a lot of the times, like for the Super Bowl, for example, you'll see like some teams, they open up their stadium or they open up a gym, like if it's in the NCAA, or even if you were in high school and your team made it to the state basketball tournament and they showed it on the projectors. Something was supposed to be like that, either for event watching or classroom control, like learning. That's how 8K is supposed to be projected. But then you have cord shavers and cord nevers. So you just had the cord cutting. So people are trying to move away from, you've heard the term cut the cord, or toss the dish. So people are trying to, some of these companies like Netflix or Hulu, they're trying to get you to get away from, or YouTube TV, which I actually use, they're trying to get you to get away from using, Dish Network and things that will require you to have more and more cords and have to plug in more things and just go to more streaming based things. And you have your 2-screen viewing, which is kind of popular on social media. I think the first one I could think of was YouTube that first did it, where you could be looking for another video, but simultaneously watching a video at the same time. So you could be searching and still watching the video that you were just watching. So you could be watching a music video or watching an interview, and you can swipe the video down and it'll like go to your bottom right screen, and you could be searching for another video at the same time. So that's kind of that 2-screen viewing. And the U.S. adoption of the ATSC 3.0 standard, and the era of the blended telecomputer. So just being able to do things that you on your computer, on your TV, that you would otherwise have to do on your computer are kind of like combined. So television and computer, you put them together and made telecomputer. So being able to watch YouTube or listen to Pandora are all, they're all possible now in the year 2019 and beyond on your smart TV. Moving on. And if you're interested in getting a job in, video and TV production or distribution, if you're still in school, on campus, that is, they have a bunch of campus TV stations. The school that I actually went to for undergrad, Middle Tennessee State University, had its own student-run campus television station, MT10. Shout out to MT10, where you would just basically, learn how to be a reporter, from a student perspective. So it's just straight hands-on stuff. And there are over 1,500 TV stations in the United States that do it professionally. So you can go there and have an opportunity to work with the teleprompter or be a reporter or work behind the camera and being a producer of online content. So if you know a comedian or a public speaker, and people that want to get content put up online on social media, or you yourself, you could just produce online content and do it that way, or get an entry-level job at doing video production at a newspaper, a magazine, or a publication. They're moving to more online-based video services, and they need people that can do video production and that have those skills. So if you need a job, those are some of the avenues that you can go down. And last but not least, some things to consider. Some questions for you to answer in the discussion board. Technology seemed to be growing smaller, but it's now growing again. So at one point, all the cell phones were getting smaller and smaller. They were getting thinner, but it seems like now they're growing again, especially with the development of the iPhone, the Samsung Galaxy phone. They're kind of mirroring each other. If you look at their progression, they were getting smaller and smaller and smaller, but now it seems like they're growing again, As I record this, I'm recording this on the iPhone XR, which if you look back at the development of the iPhone 3, I think it was a little smaller, but now it just keeps growing because people want to look at videos. They want to watch TV. They want to do all this stuff on their phone. You can't do that with a smartphone. So technology is growing. The question I have is how and where will consuming TV, or how and where will we be consuming TV and video content in the future? So in 2020 and beyond, will it be on phones? What will it be on? Will it be on tablets? And will older forms of technology like a tablet phase out with smartphones being able to process more internet-delivered content? I know this was a long presentation, 28 minutes, but I hope you all enjoyed it. And I look forward to any responses. Thanks.